to start calling this Story Time with Uncle Jerry.
Here we go.
when I'm down here in
I
Eugene.
appreciate you didn't say Grandpa Jerry. Thank you very much.
All right, Story Time with Grandpa Jerry. No, Uncle Jerry here as we're down in Autzen Stadium. We're overlooking every Wednesday. I'm down here in Eugene. Danny's still back up in the studios. But it's always good to bring you in. And this week is a special one because it's a rivalry week. Oregon State. And you're going to be on the call for, we were trying to do the math here, the 38th
This doesn't seem
iteration.
real. That's
Yeah.
crazy. That's a lot of players, a
It
lot
is.
of fans.
And you've seen some incredible games that have come through,
My
too.
gosh, yeah. To try to remember them and put them all. One of the most famous for me will be, well, two. When Oregon beat Oregon State in Corvallis, Dino Filios, green pass, Ducks win, get to go to the Rose Bowl for the first time since Noah landed the Ark. Or it seemed like that. It was a long time. And then Chip Kelly's in and go to Corvallis again, need to beat the Beavers to go to their first ever national championship game. And they did, and those two moments probably are the biggest up there that I can remember.
Outside of Kenny Wynn's going to score, the emotion that we heard from the Oregon Ducks are going to play for the national title is your two most legendary calls that you've ever had.
Yeah, I was telling Tyson Alger earlier today, we were talking about that, and as a broadcaster, when you do something, I don't, and I don't think you do either, you don't try to plan what you're going to say in a big moment. It's just got to be real and natural. So I knew that Oregon had a chance to go to a national championship game if they beat Oregon State. I don't know what I'm going to say. It's going to be great, exciting. If it's a close game, I don't know how it's going to be. And then all of a sudden it was there, and it came out, and I just lost it.
Yeah.
I just lost it. And I was so disappointed because it wasn't very professional. I'm thinking, do a good call, count it down, Ducks are going to national, whatever, way it should be. And it didn't come out that way because I just lost it. So we're driving back from Corvallis to Eugene, and I'm still just beating myself up because it was so unprofessional. And the play came on. I think you guys played it from the Portland studio, and that people were calling in and talking about it. And I heard it for the first time.
Yeah.
And I went, oh, okay, that wasn't too bad. And all the guys in the car were like, are you kidding me? That was a great call.
It was a great call.
And I accept that now. But at the time, I just felt like I'd lost control. Like with Kenny Wheaton, I'm screaming,
But I think that also is like you always want to be professional, but at the same time,
where's the fun in that?
Yeah, the emotion of the game is you're feeling exactly what the people that are listening and watching are feeling as well.
That's what I tried to do. I used to teach broadcasting when I was down in Southern Oregon to kids, and I would say, here you are. You have taken your best friend to a football game, and your best friend is blind.
Yeah.
So you're going to use the simplest terms you can. He's going to hear the noise, and you're going to tell him where the ball is, who's got it, and where it's going. This as simply as you can. So I've always thought that's what I wanted to do. I never wanted to get too overly technical about gaps and all kinds of different defenses and offenses. So I never did. I let Jordy do that.
Yeah.
I let you do that down on the field. But I just try to be really basic about it, and you got to realize it. When I was doing high school ball, and even at this level, the majority of fans don't understand the game.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, my silly wife, who was a cheerleader for years, asked me one day, why do they have to punt the ball away? Why do they have to give it away?
Yeah.
I said, you mean serious? She said, well, yeah, why? I said, no, you're right. Well, I'll explain it one day. But most people listening, they get the basics, but they don't get the little bubble screen and stuff like that.
That's okay. My wife and I had this conversation the other day. She didn't know what a receiver was, and I was like, I literally coach receivers, and that's what I played receiver. She's like, I don't care. I was like, oh, well.
That's the average fan.
That
they
sounds
just
about right.
enjoy the game.
I will say, though, the emotion in being a part of it and being a part of it for so long, and it doesn't matter whether you're someone who's calling high school football or you're calling the Miracle on Ice. The emotion, I think it matters, and having your attachment that you have, I think that matters. I mean, like you can talk about the great national play-by-play folks like Al Michaels screaming, "Do you believe in miracles?" I mean, I think like having that attachment to things, that's what brings it home. So Lean into that. Come on now.
Yeah, no, you're right, and you could hear, and so this Saturday I'm going to get even more emotional.
Good.
On a third down, if they fail on a third down, I may cry. I don't know. But Al Michaels was a great example.
I would love to see Jorgie's face if that happened. Jorgie, what are you doing?
Get it. Al Michaels is a great example. I mean, he was just calling it for the national audience, but he was a part of that team. His emotion was genuine. You can listen to a football, baseball game, whatever it is, and you can tell when a guy's paid. They flew in yesterday. They talked to a few people. They're doing the game. They're going to fly out tomorrow. You can tell that, and it doesn't make the game as fun or as exciting as when there's some real genuine emotion in it.
Look, Paul Allen is the radio voice for the Minnesota Vikings, and he's drove me crazy over the years. But you will never, ever, ever question his passion and love for that team.
Yeah.
No, that's good. It's a fine line to walk, because when Bill Byrne hired me, he said, and I'll never forget this, he said, you need to show your excitement for the Ducks, all right? And don't worry about somebody calling you a homer. I'm the one that signed your check. So, but after that, I realized that, you need to be respectful of other teams and players and fans. So,
All right, we had two memorable ones that you have. Dino Filia in the end zone. Ducks go to the Rose Bowl. Ducks go to the national title. I need to ask you, how do you call a fog bowl?
You don't.
Yeah. How do you that is one of the things that we're all watching it on TV, and sometimes cameras can cut through the fog. They went to low angles in the fog bowl.
Yeah.
But you don't have that luxury on radio. What did you do for those? Then you've had two of them.
We went to the sideline.
Oh, really?
Really?
So if we have a fog game, you're calling it.
All right.
So you may have to get out of the field a little bit.
Here we go. Let's get dirty.
Yeah, we just couldn't see. It's like, and I think Oregon had the plating on their shoulder pads at the time, and they shined a little bit more through the fog, and so you could see these little spots bouncing around down on the field. But you didn't know where the ball was. Really?
No way.
No, it was crazy.
Did you just throw your hands up and just say, "I wish I could tell you"?
Jorgie, can you? No, I can't see. So I can't. Who was doing the sideline? Might have been Mike Barrett. Could have been Jay Allen. I'm not sure. One of those guys was doing the sideline. We said, "Okay, can you see enough?" Yeah, we're down here, because they're not looking down through the fog.
Yeah.
And so they did it until it dissipated enough for us to pick it back up.
Holy smokes! Now we have a Oregon State game that isn't going to be played with fog because it's in September.
No turkey.
So are you still going to have turkey? Are you on Thursday or tomorrow night? Are you
just to keep it normal?
Get into routine for this game? Are you going to have turkey?
No, I didn't think about that. If
you didn't think about food?
No. Well, yeah. We'll line up pizza, chicken, and turkey, and have some pumpkin pie just in case. But I don't care if you played this game the weekend before Thanksgiving, the day after Thanksgiving, June 1st, or February 9th. It's a rivalry game, and it's the game that means everything. It's different.
Yeah.
It won't be raining, I don't think.
I don't think it will be. I think it was going to be sunny and 72.
It's the first time in maybe 36 years that I've been to Corvallis that it hasn't rained with the wind blowing sideways.
Wow.
That's normally what is that time of the year.
Yeah, and now we're just going to have to reframe kind of all of our thinkings of how this game is going to be played, because early in the year, both teams working through stuff still, and at the end of the season, it is you have the light at the end of the tunnel, whether it's a conference championship game or bowl aspirations for either team. Now it is a complete reframing of where teams are, where they're progressing towards, and really who you are. You're still finding your identities.
And that's probably more for the fans than it is for the teams, because I think the teams are so focused on week to week. Okay, who's the opponent this week? Oregon State. Okay, let's prepare for Oregon State. Let's fix what we didn't do right last week and get ready for this game. Fans have time to stew on everything that's happened. Gosh, we're not in the Pac-12 anymore. Oregon passed us. They didn't take us with them. I think there's a lot of blame given to Oregon, and it's too bad. But that's what's going to be going on in the stadium. Yeah. The game is completely separate to everything, and the reason we're playing the game this early.
We've got Oregon State coming up this weekend. Ducks, first 2 weeks, they've been working through some things. All of the excitement, all the expectations. It's been a work in progress, though, especially on the offensive side of the football. I thought the defense has been really good through the first 2 weeks, though.
Yeah, the defense really has held up, and they're getting better week by week. And I think, before we get too much further along, this is going to be a really tough team to move the ball on. The offense, yeah, it's a work in progress. It's honest. The first game, didn't run the ball well at all. Miscues, not a lot of good communication. And then against Boise State, the first half last week, a little bit more of that. But we talked about, I thought by the third quarter, after halftime, they'd adjusted and found some things.
Yeah.
I think they shot themselves in the foot with some penalties and a fumble here and there. But I felt better about what we saw in the second half. But there's still, I think to me, the offensive line is when you insert a bunch of new guys is the last area to finally come together because of the communication that's required.
Yeah.
When you look at where this Oregon team is right now, it's always better to learn about yourself in a win, but how soon do you think it gets down the line where if some of those miscues and some of those issues keep popping up where it becomes, this isn't the beginning of the season, this isn't trying to figure some things out, this isn't trying to get personnel even healthy, where it becomes bothersome or worrisome and you kind of have to start going, okay, there's some things we really need to nail down on?
Well, I think they're almost there to that point. Although there are a lot of teams in the nation already this first couple of weeks that either got upset or went down to the wire with teams. I mean, they're supposed to win by 27. Notre Dame goes down. Those types of games. So you're already at that point of the season. You don't want to wait till game 3, 4, or 5 and say, gosh, we still got issues, even though we're winning. Although Washington did that all the way last year, clear to the championship game. So this is a week when Oregon's going to be favored, and they need to clean some things up, take care of business, and get a W, and then you get a little better, go to UCLA after a bye week, and hopefully you're all on the same page then, and things are really clicking. If you get through that UCLA game and you're still having issues, even though you're getting wins, you begin to wonder, okay, what's missing here? How long is it going to take them to get there? Because I totally believe they've recruited the talent. I think the talent is good enough, and I know the coaching is good enough that they will get there. How long will it take them to get there is the question, and it's going to be another week or two before we know that.
Yeah, last week we saw explosive plays too, which is what a lot of the fan base was lamenting after the Idaho game, is not taking shots deep. We went through that for a whole week of Idaho did everything they could to take away those deep shots, but I think one thing that is really standing out is, and you mentioned recruiting of the talent, the playmakers on the outside are exceptional. Think of some of the best groups that you've seen come through here. I mean, name for name, this group is deeper than any group we've seen at Oregon.
Yeah, maybe the deepest. When you take a tight end group, throw them with the wide receivers and how well the backs can receive out of the backfield. The only thing that's been missing, Dusty, is the time for Dylan Gabriel to find one of those guys. In the second half, they were able to do that a little more. He was protected. And when you can find those kind of plays, then the running game works a little more. They complement each other. But you're right. Yeah. I can't remember a group of wide receivers that went as deep as this group is. And, I mean, Taz Johnson, wasn't a factor last week as a receiver.
Yeah.
He didn't need to be.
Was it 3 yards, I think he had?
He didn't need to be.
Yeah.
So your tight ends being, one of your leading receivers, and that's the kind of offense they're running. Take what you give or what they're going to give you, and take what you have time to get.
Yeah.
Leading up to the college football season, we went through some of the best rivalry trophies in all of college football, and some local bias may or may not have carried the Platy to the final round. I want to get your take on a trophy that isn't really discussed all too often in the Platypus.
There's a reason. I don't know what to say. I never understood where they came from.
Yeah. Well, it's a duck and a beaver just smashed together.
Yeah, I know, but that's after a lot of beers. Designing that. I mean, there's got to be something better. I mean, it's.
Well, we were reading up on that trophy. We did like a bracket of all of the great rivalry trophies, and we gave some facts about each of them. The Platypus Trophy is actually not even finished. because the sculptor didn't have enough time to finish the feet on it before the game started. And so they're like, no, we need it. And he's like, okay, here it is. So it's not even a completed trophy yet. I think I do like the idea of the Platypus Trophy. I think we should do something, like have rocks from the mountain, have it carved out of rocks from the Oregon mountains or something. Maybe give us a little something a little bit more, I don't know, with a little bit more edge, and maybe something that's completed.
Well, maybe you could, get a big Douglas fir tree and carve it out of a fir tree.
Okay.
There's you got beavers. They chew on a tree.
Yeah.
I don't know if the ducks would do on a tree, but it's the state of Oregon. So yeah. I mean, I know. I look at that trophy and I think, oh, must have been a bad night.
Yeah. Yeah. I think the thought is good. We need that execution, and then it went missing for like 30 years too.
Gosh, I wonder why. To me, that trophy would have come out of the 0-0 tie in the Fog Bowl.
Okay.
Somebody said, "Oh man, these guys are bad. Let's do something that fits that game."
Again, I need to make it my point. I've told Jorgie I will defend his honor on the 83 scoreless tie. He had a broken leg. We all need to.
He was not, in
remember.
fact, the quarterback.
He was not the quarterback for the 0-0 tie. He came on the podcast this week, and he was asked about that game, and we talked about it, and he was in true fashion. I had to ask him, though. He said I was in cowboy boots on the sidelines, and I said, 83 Jorgie didn't wear shorts everywhere, unless he was wearing shorts with the cowboy boots.
Which I hope that happened.
Yeah. So I just need to get that disclaimer out there, because I've made it my mission to say, anytime that game's brought up, that's not on our guy.
That's not his fault.
That's not on our guy there.
No. He was signaling in plays from the sideline, and he got quite a lot of them wrong, obviously. So you could say he was part of that.
The elements got the best of both of those teams in that game.
That was a miserable game.
Were you here for that?
I wasn't. It was a miserable game.
That was 4 years before you started, and so maybe you're the one that has kind of changed things with that rivalry.
Yeah,
game.
I'll take credit for that.
All right, there we go.
I think Bill Musgrave really is the one that gets credit for that.
Now, that's interesting. We were talking about kind of where you started. You have seen really, there's only a handful of bowl games that have happened in Oregon's football history that you haven't called. Because when you start, that Musgrave was the first one in, was it 20 years?
Yeah.
And they finally got over the hump and got to a bowl game. How have you seen kind of that elevation in the program and in the expectations of where they were then, where going to the Freedom Bowl and the Independence Bowl was a massive deal for the not just the program, but the entire university in the area?
No, we thought, I was telling Tyson earlier, you get to the Independence Bowl, and that was like the most fun, and wow, can it get better than this? And then you get to the Freedom Bowl, and wow, this is getting a little better. And I remember getting to the Rose Bowl and thinking, wow, we've arrived. It won't get any better than this. We've gotten to the Rose Bowl. Well, the next year we don't make it to the Rose Bowl. We go to the Cotton Bowl, and it's like, well, this is disappointing. I mean, but it was a big bowl game. But right after that is when some of the donors got together, and Phil and a lot of others, Ed Mashofsky, and said, you know what, if we want to get serious about this, we need to step up to the plate and build up facilities that will attract some players for these coaches. So that's when it really took off. And then, of course, Bellotti got the Ducks to that Fiesta Bowl when they really deserved to be in the national championship game. And to see it, it seems like a long time at times, but then at times it seems like it just happened over the last few years.
Yeah.
It's just been, I mean, this used to be just Autzen Stadium, parking lot, practice fields across the street on a grass field. Locker rooms down below were too small to get all the teams in, so they shared the locker rooms. I mean, we've come a long, long way in a relatively short period of time.
In building all those facilities, I remember you had very angry alumni, because that's where they used to park, is where the HDC and the CAS and the Mo. That used to be like the former player tailgate lot and parking lot, and they got really upset that they didn't have anywhere to go after that.
I was upset. I used to park my motorhome down there pregame, and that's where we did the pregame show. Yeah, and then they said, no, you can't do it anymore. But it's kind of a catch-22. Okay, you want the facilities so we get the athletes in here so you can have a national championship caliber team, or do you want parking? It's up to you. You know.
Well,
Parking is awful nice. I'm just,
It is awful nice.
Former players, they want their places to, have reminisce and have some cold cold sodies in the parking lot.
There are a lot of people at tailgate never come into the game. So that's how fun that is. I've never been tailgating.
You've never been? Oh, well, I guess.
No, never get it. Never.
That'd make for one heck of a broadcast if you did.
live from the tailgate.
I'll just call it off the TV.
Hey, maybe there's a fog bowl coming in at some point where your services won't be required and you can head down to the parking lot.
It'd be a fun experience sometime.
that would be. Jerry, we appreciate the time, man. Thank you.
I love doing it. See you again next week, 2 weeks, or whatever.
Yeah.
Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Oh, no. Thanksgiving's in November. I'm Steve.
Yeah, see?
It all blends
it's Oregon,
together.
Oregon State.
Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
there it is. Jerry Allen, voice of the Ducks.
Thanks, Jerry.